Rachel, we are so excited to talk to you today. Congratulations on your new cookbook, Good Lookin Cookin. I first saw it at CMA Fest when you had that gorgeous display, so we're very excited to talk to you today.
Oh, yay. Well, it's good to talk to you.
Now, you have been cooking since you were 5 years old as the youngest of your family. How did this idea come about for you and your sister to do this together?
Well, we were cooking in the kitchen, and Dolly said, we were talking about the latest cookbooks. I always usually have one with me, say, have you seen this? Have you seen that? And we're cooking, and Dolly said, well, why don't we do a cookbook? No, she said, no, really, I'm serious. What would you think about doing a cookbook? And I said, well, I think it would be great. And it has been great.
You know, I think I've gained about 20 pounds since I moved to Tennessee about 20 years ago. I put on about a pound a year because Southern cooking's just good cooking. But I'm a terrible cook. So is this going to help me out? Is this going to make me a better cook? Or should I just give up and hopefully that I've got somebody in my life like you that's a great cook?
Well, I hope you try some of the recipes. I think you're going to be pleased and surprised. I think you can do this.
Okay, well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it my best effort.
What I really liked about it was that you said your recipes allow you to have time at the dinner table with your family, because I can remember growing up, you know, my grandmother, she would always miss out on the conversations at the dinner table because she's in the kitchen cooking. So I love that you make it. You've already thought of everything. You've thought of the time that it takes to prepare in the kitchen, and you make note in the book that you will have time to sit down and enjoy it with your family. So I thought that was really, really nice.
Well, I think that's so important. I mean, you don't want your mama or your grandmother to be left in the kitchen after she's cooked all this food and everybody laughing and having a great time at the table. And I think that is so important for all of us cooks to be at the table with our family and with our friends.
Absolutely.
So speaking of special times, you make a special dish for your sister on her birthday every year. What do you make her?
I do. I make her rustic chicken and dumplings.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome.
Now, you need to try this recipe. You got this.
Well, I started to say my birthday's not too far away. I may have to call you and see if you'll come and do it for me.
Okay. Okay, I will.
I'm excited to try this Dirt Road Martini. I love that you have some beverages in there as well.
Yes, we have some beverages, and that's a good one.
Now, I know it's much like choosing a favorite child. It's very hard to do, but if you were going to make just one recipe in this whole book, what is your go-to?
Well, I love them all, and that's a tough one. I love potatoes. That's sort of like my comforting food. If I need comforting, I'll go in the kitchen. I'll just make a huge pot of mashed potatoes. And but being a cook, I can do that. Whatever I want, I can go in the kitchen and make it work. Sometimes that's good for me. Sometimes it's not.
So when you want a night out, you're in Nashville. You're actually in Franklin. I'm a Franklin guy. I'm always looking for a great place to go and have a nice meal. What's your favorite? When you need a break? Where do you go?
Where do I go?
Or what do you order when you go out?
Oh, okay. Either way, I love. If we're saying names, I love J. Alexander's. Is one of my favorite restaurants, and from there I get. Usually I see what the daily special is, and it's always great. Then I usually will have a glass of white wine, and then I'll usually order dinner.
Oh, that sounds like a nice, relaxing night out. I love that.
Yes.
So the book's coming out this week, and it's going to be a monster smash. But what if you don't read a lot, you still love the recipes? There's an audiobook, right? There's a whole nother way to experience this.
There is. Morris and I did quite a bit in this book on audio, and of course my sister is in the audio version, and we had a great time. So you can listen to it and hear the stories, and who doesn't love to hear Dolly?
And there's some music involved in it too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you get some Dolly songs, you get some great recipes, and you can just relax and cook and maybe have that glass of wine while you're doing it.
Absolutely.
You'll hear Dolly and Rachel share a lot of the stories that are in the book and stories about these recipes and about growing up and cooking and their love of cooking. And then as Rachel mentioned, she and I got together in the kitchen and made several of the items from the September meal, and then Dolly popped in and just like you'd think, knocked on the door and asked what
What's cooking good looking?
Yeah. She was, of course, referring to Rachel, not to me.
Well, and I was going to ask you, what was your experience like in this? Because you got to work with the two of them through this process, and that had to be just a lot of fun.
It was truly special. I sat with Dolly and Rachel together and did several hours of interviews to talk about their love of cooking, their memories of family and food and friends, about these recipes, and then still more time with Rachel and occasionally Dolly afterwards, just making sure that as I took all of the words that they had shared in those conversations and made them fit this book, that their voices were still here. One of the best compliments I got from the publishing team as this book came together was, we hear them when we read this book, and I think you do. If you pick up Good Lookin' Cookin' and you're reading it, you're going to hear Dolly and Rachel speaking to you.
So another perk of doing this project, I would assume, is you got to taste all the food as they were cooking and doing things, and I would assume that you have a favorite from the cookbook.
I tried and made virtually everything in this book just to make sure that as we were describing how things came together, that I was able to follow the instructions, and it made sense to me. I'm not a gourmet cook by any means. I don't have some sort of specially outfitted kitchen. If I could do it, anybody could do it, and they can. And yes, if I have a favorite, the country loaf bread is the thing I've probably made the most outside of the dirt road martini.
I agree with that. Yes.
I know where I'm coming for like Thanksgiving. I was just going to invite myself to your house.
Well, speaking of Thanksgiving, I thought that it was really cool that you had 12-course meals planned out for each holiday. How long would you say that it takes you to make a 12-course meal?
Well, I'd start, like for a holiday, I'll start at least 3 days in advance. I'll shop, I'll get my menu, I'll shop for all my food, and then I will make the dessert. If the bread, if I can make it in advance, I will. And some of the side dishes you can. And that's why at the end of it all, you will be able to sit down with your family and friends.
Well, we want to come to your house for Thanksgiving. It sounds like the place to be.
So what was it like growing up with Dolly? I mean, you're a huge family. You're doing all this cooking. Was it just like everybody pitched in and went to the kitchen and you did the potatoes and somebody else did the meat, or was it just a big family affair cooking when you were growing up?
And who does the dishes?
Yeah.
Oh, well, usually that often fell on my sister Frida and I, being the youngest. It was it was one of those things where you're cooking. It takes a lot of different dishes and bowls and so on and so forth. So we would be at the sink. I would wash and she would dry the dishes, and so we did that a lot. Of course, when we got older, we started participating in the meal prep. But it's just one of those great things where Mama would start, and then everyone would just know. You just instinctively knew, where to go, what to do, how to start.
It was just in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, Rachel. We are so excited to try out this cookbook, and congratulations on everything that you have going on.
Thank you so much. It's so fun to talk to you.
Oh, we appreciate it. Thank you.